Okay, let's unpack this. We have quite an intriguing stack of sources you've shared with us today, a collection of articles, research notes, and they're all circling around, well, a single deeply unsettling German mystery.
Yes, it's a case that has really defied resolution for, gosh, over a century now. It continues to haunt the imagination.
Absolutely. So for this deep dive, our mission is to go through your material, pull out the most crucial insights, and try to grasp the facts and, maybe more importantly, the frustratingly persistent questions surrounding the Hinterkaifeck murders.
Right. It all starts at this isolated farmstead, Hinterkaifeck, tucked away in the Bavarian woods back in 1922. The setting itself, it really seems to amplify the chilling nature of what happened there.
It really does.
Yeah.
You picture this quiet place and then silence shattered. Probably sometime around March 31st, 1922. 6 people live there. Andreas Gruber, his wife Cecilia, their widow daughter Victoria Gabriel, and her 2 young children, Cecilia and Joseph, and their brand new maid.
All 6. Just their lives brutally extinguished.
What makes this immediately stand out, and your sources repeatedly emphasize this, is the discovery. It wasn't right away.
No, days passed.
Yeah, days. Neighbors started noticing the farm seemed, deserted, mail piling up, the cows were making noise, hungry, nobody around.
And when they finally went to check, the scene they found was just horrific. 4 bodies discovered in the barn. Chillingly stacked on top of each other and covered with hay.
Stacked, wow.
Yeah, killed with some kind of heavy tool. The sources describe it as matic or maybe a pickaxe-like instrument. Brutal.
And that wasn't everyone.
No. Inside the house, they found the maid and little Joseph, the grandson, just 2 years old, also dead, their skulls crushed. Just a scene of almost unimaginable violence.
Okay, but here's the really strange part. The paradox your sources highlight again and again. Despite this incredible brutality, there were apparently absolutely no signs of forced entry.
None. The doors weren't broken down, nothing like that.
Nothing of value was taken. No money, no, family heirlooms, nothing.
Exactly. It just completely undermines the typical motives you'd expect, like robbery.
It throws everything off balance, doesn't it? How do you reconcile that level of sheer violence with no forced entry and no theft? It suggests something. Yep. Something far more personal, maybe. Or, I don't know, something even more disturbing.
And what's truly fascinating, looking at the material you've shared, is that the strangeness wasn't just confined to the night of the murders. Your sources detail these really unsettling events before the attack happened.
Right, I saw that. Andreas Gruber, the farmer, he told people about finding footprints in the fresh snow.
Yeah.
Footprints leading directly to the farm, but none leading away.
Yeah.
It's such a chilling detail. Just footprints arriving, but they don't leave. Where did they go?
It's a complete mystery in itself. And he also reported hearing footsteps up in the attic. When he knew nobody was up there, he apparently checked, found nothing. Just sounds.
And then there's that really creepy detail about the maids. The previous maid, she quit suddenly, right? Just months before.
Yeah, she left because she was terrified.
Terrified? Well,
she claimed the house felt haunted. Said she saw shadows, heard voices, felt like someone was watching her.
Okay, wow. So a general feeling of dread around the place already.
Which, led to them hiring the new maid, Maria Baumgartner. And tragically, your sources say she arrived literally on March 31st, the day the attacks likely started.
Oh, no.
Yeah, killed that same night, or very, very shortly after she got there.
That just adds this layer of, premonition, or this pervasive unease surrounding the farm itself. It's like the place was already marked.
It certainly deepens that sense of dread. Now, the investigation that followed, it was pretty extensive. They questioned over 100 suspects over the years, a huge number.
100. So they really cast a wide net.
They did. But your material underscores a critical, maybe fatal blow to solving the case early on. The crime scene. It was severely compromised almost immediately.
Gosh, how so?
Well, the villagers who made the grim discovery, and maybe even some of the first people on the scene, they inadvertently contaminated everything.
Oh, right. People just wandering through.
Yeah, exactly. Walking through the house, touching things, moving objects. They even apparently started tending to the livestock before any proper forensic examination could happen.
Oh, no. So crucial evidence was just gone or trampled.
Pretty much lost or destroyed, making an already baffling crime almost impossible to reconstruct forensically, especially with 1920s technology.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it may be the most profoundly disturbing insight from your sources. The one that truly sets this case apart is the strong evidence suggesting the killer or killers actually stayed on the farm for several days after committing the murders.
That detail is almost unbearable to think about, isn't it?
It really is.
Your sources state it pretty clearly. Someone used the kitchen fireplace, they ate food from the pantry, and they continued to feed the cattle in the barn.
While the bodies were still there. In the barn and house.
Yes, living alongside the bodies of their victims for potentially 2 or 3 days.
That just raises such chilling questions about the killer's mindset. This wasn't some quick crime of passion or a robbery gone wrong. This sounds calculated, intimate almost, and involves spending days in the presence of death.
It's a level of coldness and control that is truly rare and deeply unsettling.
So with the formal investigation kind of hampered by the compromised scene and these bizarre circumstances, your sources then dive into the many, many theories that have tried to explain the Hinterkaifeck horror over the decades, right?
Exactly, because when the facts don't add up, speculation rushes in.
So what are some of the main ones? There's the idea of a drifter, someone just passing through.
Yeah, that's one. Maybe someone seeking shelter, things got violent, plausible on the surface, but doesn't quite explain staying afterwards, maybe.
Right, or maybe someone much closer.
That's another strong line of theory. A neighbor, maybe a former employee with a grudge. Or the sources delve into the complex family dynamics, maybe even a secret lover of Victoria's, perhaps driven by jealousy or some other dispute.
And then there's that really persistent, kind of unsettling theory involving Victoria's late husband, Carl Gabriel.
Yes, Carl Gabriel, supposedly killed in World War I.
Supposedly. Your material points out there wasn't actually a confirmed death record. No body found. Just the official declaration based on wartime reports.
Right. So the theory goes, could he have actually deserted, survived, and maybe returned years later and found something at the farm, maybe about Victoria or the family that enraged him?
It's a compelling idea, definitely dramatic, though perhaps a bit far-fetched, like you said.
Well, it's considered, I think, mainly because of the complete lack of other clear leads. When nothing else fits, you start looking at the long shots.
True. And your sources also touch upon the more local explanations, almost folkloric ones.
Things like the idea of a watcher in the woods, like some reclusive figure living wild in the surrounding forests, maybe someone who'd been observing the farm, lurking, and finally attacked. It feeds into that isolation fear.
Yeah, creepy. Or the notion that the farm itself was just cursed, a place inherently unlucky.
Right. That strange occurrences were common there, even before the murders. The previous maid's fears would tie into that.
While these might sound more like local legend than solid theories.
They definitely speak to the deep unease the place generated, which your material notes people felt something was wrong there.
And the stark reality after all this time, all the investigation, the theories, the hundreds questioned, the Hinterkaifeck murders are still officially unsolved. No one was ever convicted.
6 lives taken in this horrific act, no clear motive established, no killer ever brought to justice. It's profoundly frustrating, the farmstead itself. Torn down the following year, 1923, perhaps an attempt to just erase the physical reminder of such trauma.
So only a small memorial stands there now.
That's right, just a shrine.
But your sources suggest the mystery hasn't entirely, faded from the area, these lingering stories.
Yes, there are apparently persistent local claims, people reporting strange lights seen near the site, even now, unexplained footsteps.
And even, chillingly, the sound of a pickaxe still being heard by some locals.
That's what some of the sources mention. Whether it's folklore or something else, it speaks to the profound impact this event had. That the echo of it seems to linger somehow, even a century later.
It makes you ask why. Why does an unsolved case from so long ago, from such an isolated place, continue to grip our attention so powerfully?
What does it reveal about, maybe, our enduring fascination with the unknown? The vulnerability of isolation, that primal fear when logic just fails.
Yeah, when the facts don't fit, our minds are sort of left to wander into the darkest corners of possibility, aren't they?
Exactly. And perhaps, as one of the fascinating ideas raised in the source material you shared, there's this thought that maybe, just maybe, the shadows decide to speak. That some secrets about Hinterkaifeck are still hidden in the dark history of that place. Still waiting.
Secrets perhaps only heard as, unexplained sounds in the night. Or the faint, persistent echo of a pickaxe. That's certainly something disturbing to consider as you reflect on this deep dive.